Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Now, I'm not in the workshop this weekend, I'm very sorry. We are not working on the Porsche. I'm gutted as you. I'm down here at the repair shop though, so I thought what a perfect time to actually spend a little bit more time and get to know some of the other experts a little bit better. And I thought we can do tool time with Dom and let's find out what everybody's favourite tool is and most importantly why. We've got Chris Shaw here, everybody. Repair shop's favourite bookbinder. Here he is, Chris Shaw. What is your favourite tool and why?
Well, my favourite tool is this bone folder. I use it every single day. It's just like an extension of my hand. I know every little bit about this. The feel, it sits in my hand. It is such a delight to work with it every single day. It's lovely. It's absolutely beautiful.
What is it?
This is actually, again, it sounds a bit cliched. This was my grandfather's. So it's like third generation, it's come down to me. He worked with saddles or upholstery. I don't really know what. I only met him 2 or 3 times. But this came to me and I've used it ever since. So at college I've used it for 42 years this.
Goodness me.
And it's bone. And it's got this beautiful sort of chamfered, every little bit of it, there's a different thickness.
And I bet that's come with time from using it and wearing into your hand and your shape and the way you use it.
So I know how this feels and I dread losing this. If I lost this, I don't know how I would function. It is a treasured possession.
So what do you use it for?
I use this just for everything, rubbing things down. It's basically an extended finger.
So when you're making a paper aeroplane and you're folding a piece of paper, for creasing that instead of using your thumb?
Yep. Anything that you needed a really hard thumb for, this is like plus 10. So, and it's also good for lifting things, rubbing things down.
Oh, so you've got a fine edge so you can get it under something to pick something up.
Like a knife, so you can cut things with it. It sort of gives it sort of a deckled edge too. And then the thicker bits of leather, you can use it for, it's just a multiple tool.
Well, it's like a big multi-tool. It's like your version of a Swiss Army knife.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I do try so many other bone folders, and it's rather like Harry Potter with his wand. You know what I mean? This somehow has got a core of Christopher Shaw in it. Yeah. And that's what I like about it.
Can you buy them new? Are there people
You can buy
selling
them new, but you don't. They're not necessarily bone anymore. Right. But it's a byproduct of the meat industry anyway. Yeah. But this one, just because my grandfather used it, it just
the new ones are never the same.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Chris Shaw, our bookbinder. Very good.
Thanks, Dom.
We're doing well. That's Chris Shaw. He's now on his way. He's gone. He's done for the day. But don't worry, I've grabbed the next one. Richard T.
Hi guys, my name's Richard, I'm the repair shop's Goldsmith.
What is your favourite tool and why?
My favourite tool is my piercing saw. It's a Swiss one, it's a Grobet, and it is just so perfect, beautiful, light. I can't get through a single day in my job without it. And
every day? You use it every day?
Every single day I use this saw frame, and this tiny blade in here, this is what's known as a 2-0. This is the thickest blade we use.
That's the thickest?
Thickest. The thinnest is about the thickness of a human hair.
So how thick is that blade then?
It's called a 2-0, so it's the number is just on the gauge of the teeth per inch. I'm not quite 100% sure what it means, but yeah, that's the biggest and the thickest that we would ever use.
That's insane.
And when you're putting the saw blade in, these are all manually tensioned. So you just take the end of your saw blade, tuck it in, and I'm using the pressure from my breastbone to the wood of the bench, tightening it up, and then it has to be able to make that like a saw, like a guitar. And they cut on the downstroke, not the upstroke, like a hacksaw. It's completely opposite to a hackshaw.
So you use that vertical.
Yeah. So you're cutting.
How would you use that then?
So you'll be at 90 degrees to the metal. So you'd be going cut, and the downstroke is the cut, whereas on a hacksaw, it's the forward stroke. So it's still a metal saw, but a very different way of cutting.
Very different way of cutting. And what would you use that for? Cutting just sheets?
This is absolutely everything, from sheets to bar, to cutting out holes, cutting out back holes. I honestly cannot think of any sort of jewellery repair or make which wouldn't need this item in it.
How many of those saws have you got?
I've got a few, but
I bet.
None is as good as this. This has lasted me, I reckon this must be 20 20 years old. I think I got this 8 years into my first job. Yeah, it's just the weight of it and how beautiful and light it is, and it's old tools.
Do you think? I guess you've had it 20 years. I guess you've become more attached to it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can get. I think you can still buy this type today, but as with anything, they start to economise on certain parts.
Yeah.
And they maybe don't last as long. But yeah, this one's mine. This will go to my grave with me.
Wow, love it.
If it lasts that long.
Nice one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dom.
Very good. Let's
Cheers.
get back to work. It's now actually Wednesday already. It's gone so quickly this week. So Chris Shaw and Richard Talman have now gone, and we've got a whole new group of experts in. Will is in today, Brenton's in, and of course, David Burville's here.
So, I'm David Burville, I'm an auger builder, and this is my favourite tool.
And you're like, all right, I've got to go down to the repair shop today. What are we going to bring? What is the first thing that you reach for when you come down?
Well, probably the most versatile tool that I've got is my little lathe. And I must admit, I love this little thing.
But we've got a lathe here.
Well, we have, but this, I can do little tiny stuff. I can not only do metal turning on it, but also I can use it for wood turning as well. So I can put just a little tool rest in, and I've got my little hand chisels and that sort of thing. And yeah, I love this thing, and it's a transformer, so it actually turns into a little pillar drill and milling machine as well. So
my God, really?
Oh yeah, it's a real.
This is the thing. So you find yourself stuck in all sorts of different situations here, working on such a wide variety of different things, don't you?
That's it, absolutely. And this thing really is like the Swiss Army knife of lathe machines.
Okay, I always expected people to have a tool, not necessarily a machine.
Well,
this is the first one.
I do have a tool as well. I'm being sneaking and cheating.
You got two, Bev. I'm not sure that's allowed.
This is my new favourite tool, and this I actually found this. This was my dad's, and it had been tucked away in storage for years and years and years. It was missing a couple of bits, so I've sort of put it back together and sharpened it all up. But I'd never seen one like this before.
No, that's really, it's half, I mean, I've seen block planes like wood, solid wood, and I've seen steel, like cast iron,
yeah, but this was like a transitional one. When they,
how old is that then?
I don't know.
Wow.
But it's got to be, it's a Stanley, so it is a proper one.
But this is new to you, so this is going to become your new favourite tool.
God, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm trying to use it as much as possible. I've already used it on a job here, so that's good. So
worth restoring then.
Definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, I love the feel of the old tools as well. You know.
Where did you get hold of that lathe? Has that got a nice story? Or?
This came from an old friend of ours. He was actually a clock repairer, and sadly he passed away, and I was left it by the family. And so yeah, it's
good on you for giving it a new lease of life.
Oh, yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth its weight in gold.
Brilliant. Another story, another favourite tool, this time from David Burville. Nice one. Good morning, it's a new day, and that was David Burville and his little lathe. He loves that little thing. It's absolutely brilliant chatting to him about it, but it's Friday already. It does happen here at the repair shop, and time goes so quickly because we're all so busy. I'm sorry that I've missed Will. He is not here today, so we're not going to find out what his favourite tool is, but Brenton, our silversmith, is here, and Kirsten is in today, the ceramics expert. I'm going to try and catch her and carry on, see how many I can get. I feel like I'm catching Pokemon. Very quick interruption. I just wanted to say sorry again, we're not working on the Porsche, but we'll be back in the workshop soon doing it. It's just been a very busy week and I'll be down here at the repair shop, but I have some good news. I am about to jump in the van and drive down to Torquay to go and spend some time with Dave Smith. He is one of the most talented people I think I've ever met. He does a lot of reverse glass gilding, but it goes way beyond that. It's brilliant cutting, etching, gilding, sign painting, marble, everything. He does so much stuff, airbrushing, and I'm going to go and spend some time down with him. I'm going to film an episode and it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I cannot wait to get down there and spend some time with him. It's going to be an awesome episode, and that is going to be out next week, so stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Hello, right, I found him, finally. I've collared him, I've caught him, and I've asked him to bring over his favourite tool. So here we go, take it away, Brenton. Repair shop's resident silversmith.
So I trained as a silversmith many years ago in Kent at Medway College of Design, and we bought a basic kit, which was a ruler and some files and a piercing saw and some hammers. And the hammer that I bought first was this planishing hammer.
That exact one?
This exact one. It's lovely. Look at the mirror finish on it, and that is the finish that you will get every time you hammer your piece of silver. So if your hammer is polished, you'll get a polished finish on your silver.
Can I see?
You certainly can. All of my silversmithing hammers are the same brand, and when I first got them, this bottom half of the hickory handle or shaft was red, and that paint's long gone. You can just see a little bit of it left there.
Maybe it's Whitehouse.
Is it Whitehouse?
Whitehouse used to do that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that, and you said it was W, didn't you?
Yeah, it could be Whitehouse. Like red and blue.
No, it's just red, red up to about there, and then wood. My rough, gnarly old hands have worn that red paint away, and the only trace of it is on the bottom here. And I don't know how many millions of times that's hit a bit of metal, but it's earned its money many times over. And it's just a lovely thing, and if I had to have a new one, it would be disappointing. I just know the feel of this, and even though it was brand new in my time, it's now really old.
Yeah.
It's so long.
Not that old, Brenton, come on.
But it is not quite an antique, but it's getting on, but it's just as good as it ever was when I first got it.
So you've had that ever since you were at college?
I had that since I was 17 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and without giving my age away, but a long time ago.
A fair few years.
Yes.
How many hammers have you got?
I've got about...
Oh my God, better bring it out.
How many hammers have I got, or how many hammers have I told my wife I've got? I have got about 20 hammers.
20?
Yeah.
But that is the one you reach for all the time?
This is the one I probably use the most, yeah.
Do you use it on the show here?
I use it on the show. If you watch me planishing on the show, you will see this very hammer being used.
So it is just it's a slightly domed. Or
very, very slightly domed. That end...
Oh
no, you've scratched it now. That end there was flat, and I had to curve it for a particular job where I had to get into a curved area. And actually it's really useful being curved, so I never put it back to flat again. I curved that maybe 20 years ago, and this is a hammer I go to quite often, just because it's got a lovely curve, but it's square, so it gets right into the edge of things.
I've had to do that to some of my hammers, like round off the edges to make them a bit round. And it's nice.
And so I've got probably a hammer for all occasions. In fact, in the repair shop just yesterday, I did adjust one of my hammers because the curve wasn't quite right on it. I curved it and polished it just to get into a particular job, and you can straighten them up again or curve them more. They're quite soft and they polish really nicely, and yeah, they're just cool things.
You're hammering silver with that, I assume?
Silver, brass, copper, nickel, base metals, yeah.
Anything like that.
So what you've got is a hard stake the silver sits on. You hit the hammer onto the stake, which knocks any dents out, and then you overlap the hammer marks. And if you look in an old piece of silver, or maybe an old tankard, an old pewter tankard, you can see the hammer marks, the planishing marks, actually on the metal.
They would have used a hammer like that.
And they would have used a hammer like that, yeah.
Brilliant. Love it.
So planishing, hammer, favourite tool.
Not for hammering in nails.
Well, I did.
Oh, no.
I will say, it's got a little chip in it. And that chip's been there for ages and ages, and it's right on the edge, so it doesn't affect it, because when I hit a piece of metal, it's always in the middle. And I don't know how that chip got there, whether my children used it or whether I used it on a car or something.
Someone's borrowed it one day.
Yeah, maybe, but it has got a little chip on it. So if there was an argument about hammers, I'd go, that's my one, because it's got a little chip on it.
Right, okay, so if that ever turns up on my bench.
Yeah, I'll know.
Brenton's favourite tool is a hammer. I can absolutely relate to that. Next up, I'm going to try and get hold of Kirsten. Let's try and find her.
It's cold.
I've found her. The lovely Kirsten is here.
Hiya.
Let's find out what her favourite tool is. Repair shop's resident ceramics conservator.
I'm a ceramics conservator.
Yes.
But I do other stuff too. I do glass and alabaster, marble, all sorts.
All sorts, yeah. So,
all trades.
for all of these amazing things you work on, what is your favourite tool?
That's a really easy question, Dom. My favourite all-time tool ever is a Taranti spatula.
A spatula?
Yep. Here's two. This is the number 47. This is my absolute favourite. and I would have got one of these on the very first week of starting ceramics conservation, and I have probably used this tool every single day since.
You're kidding.
So nearly 30 odd years, and they come from a shop in London called Alec Taranti's, a shop that supplies sculpture tools.
Right,
materials.
so it's quite a specialist shop.
Very specialist. It's really dangerous to go in there.
It's one of those shops. It's like me going in the tool shop. Yeah.
Yeah. You go in and you think, I'll just buy one of those, and you come out with a big shopping bag full, having spent hundreds of pounds.
And they sell that, so they're not like I thought they were dentist tools or like other.
I do use some dental tools, and they've just been given to me. But Taranti tools are the most essential tool. I particularly like the Italian tempered steel one because it's got like a little bit of spring to it. I've got lots of these, and I know each one individually. I can just pick it up and feel, yep, that's the one that I want. It's got just the right amount of bend to it. I know I'm a complete nerd about these, but honestly, they are vital.
What do you, silly question, but what do you use them for?
So I mainly use them for filling. So if I'm doing an area of fill and you've got that lovely flex to it, so that you can get into really sort of tight corners, and maybe if there's like a curve in a ceramic bowl, you can really
I see. So when I use filler, like on car bodywork or something, I've got like a sort of credit card sized spatula, like a spreader. It's a miniature version of that.
It is. It's exactly that, a miniature version. But also, I need to sort of get into curved areas as well, so you can get a really lovely sort of smooth glide with that. So
perfect. There you go. A spatula. A spatula, did you call it?
It's a spatula.
The spatula, yeah. Perfect. Well, there we go. Thank you so much, Kirsten. Nice one.
You're very welcome.
There we go. The lovely Kirsten. Thank you very much. What about my favourite tool? That is literally an impossible question. You know, and I didn't do an apprenticeship, so I don't have anything old like that. Really, I think for me, my favourite tool, I think I said this in my book, my favourite tool changes every day, and it's the tool that gets you out of trouble. And you know, that stubborn nut or bolt that you can't get off, when you find that spanner and it that fits and it gets it off, it's like, yes, that is for me. And that changes every day. It's always different. But I have picked something to show you. It's not really a tool, but I hope it still counts. It's my little red snap-on toolbox. I take it everywhere with me. It goes in the van, it's got my tools in the van, whatever I'm doing, that little red toolbox comes everywhere with me. I've had this little red toolbox for quite a few years now, and I bought it second-hand at an auto jumble. Whilst I was working at Carmen Connection, John was the mechanic, I was the lad, helping him out. He has one exactly the same, and he would bring that in every morning and leave every evening with it. It's quite an old box, they're quite uncommon, and John had it every day, and it kind of started that sort of desire or obsession, you could say, for tools. And when I found it in that auto jumble all those years ago, I was like, absolutely, I'm having that. I love it. It just makes me think back to being a kid, working with John, just learning and working and having fun times. So it's good memories. I hope you've enjoyed watching this episode. I know we're not in the workshop and we haven't been working on the Porsche, but down at the repair shop and it's busy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
This book is titled simply Tools. It's just a visual history of hand tools, and I think it's put together by Dominic, Chinea, whoever the heck they are. The point is, it's all about tools, and it's super cool. Most of them are hand tools. It's beautifully illustrated, as you can see, and it gives a history not only of why the tool was invented, what it's used for. It's got chisels, it's got pliers, saws, a little bit of everything. So it's a good way to learn different types of hand tools, and it's just an interesting read because it gives you all the history of all the different tools.
Can you say make sure you like and subscribe for me?
I like and subscribe.
No, can you like and subscribe?
If you enjoyed my talk on my hammer,
No, don't say it weirdly, just say it normally.
don't forget to like and subscribe to Dom's channel
And your Instagram,
and my Instagram or your Instagram.
your YouTube,
I haven't got YouTube.
your TikTok account.
I haven't got one.